We're 1 week out from the fight. Khamzat and I were here doing our last conditioning session together here with Coach Cal, and everybody's in great shape and heading into fight week feeling good. So,
ready? Go. Right. Have two fine young men, Khamzat and Aaron Pico. Great fighters, very, very dedicated, perseverant, followed everything to the T.
It's a taper day, basically, just really short because we put in some crazy hard workouts with this guy. He doesn't play around.
Go. You know, it was basically firing the nervous system. It was short, it was sweet, it was explosive, but it was only 7 minutes total work, actually. Time!
We train with Coach Cal, work hard. It's not easy to work here and go for the fight.
You feel good?
Always feel good for the fights.
I'm the underdog. I've been the underdog most of my career, but yet I am the champion. So odds don't make fights. 100% believe this is the best opponent that I've faced to date, but so was the previous one. Every time that you step in there, you are going to face the next most dangerous guy, especially as a champion.
In the high-stakes middleweight showdown, Khamzat Chimaev is going to collide with Dricus Du Plessis' explosive power, which will be exciting to say the least. This fight is the best opportunity for DDP to become a mega star.
Because we're going to see now if Khamzat Chimaev can be explosive and be a threat throughout 5 rounds, because Dricus Du Plessis is a really tough guy, and stylistically it's a tough matchup, okay? Khamzat struggled with Gilbert Burns after round 1, he struggled with Kamaru Usman after round 1. Well, if he struggled with 2 welterweights that blew up to 185, talking about Kamaru, he's certainly going to struggle with Dricus Du Plessis. Du Plessis is a gigantic middleweight, walks around at about 230 pounds, diets down to 185. He's got excellent jiu-jitsu. You've seen the videos of him tapping out multiple black belts. He's spoken quite openly that he's going to beat Khamzat at his own game.
Next week, a highly anticipated matchup is set as Khamzat Chimaev prepares to face Dricus Du Plessis. This fight is a true test of whether Chimaev can maintain his explosiveness and pose a serious threat throughout 5 brutal rounds. Du Plessis is known as a tough and durable opponent, making this a stylistically challenging contest. Chimaev has previously faced difficulties after the first round against elite welterweights like Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman.
He's going to go toe-to-toe, he's going to walk him down, he's going to choose to grapple with him and test him down there on the ground. He's big, he's strong, he's got a good gas tank, he's got an excellent chin, and he's got knockout power. So we are going to see if Khamzat Chimaev can really push it over 5 rounds, because if he can't, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Now, Rampage Jackson said that he was doing some training with him recently. He sat down with the Schmo. He said that Khamzat Chimaev reminds Rampage of when he trained with me.
But his work ethic reminds me of Michael Bisping, though. Okay. Yeah, Michael Bisping was always an animal in the gym. That's why I love training with that kid.
Now, first of all, that's very kind of you, Rampage, to say those words, and it was great to share the match with you back in the day. Me and Rampage were teammates for a very, very long time, and of course, I always trained my ass off. I pushed myself to the absolute limit.
But Khamzat has one weakness, and that's his tiredness. He fades away after round 1. Du Plessis, who has massive knockout power, is standing against him. He has elite jiu-jitsu and relentless cardio, plans to push the pace and test Chimaev deep into the fight. If Chimaev can't keep his explosiveness for 5 rounds, he may find himself in serious trouble.
And I wasn't as talented as someone like Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev is just ridiculous, right? The wrestling on this guy is phenomenal. The way that he shoots a double leg and closes and covers so much distance, it's wild. He shoots from so far out that it shouldn't work, but he's so explosive and so powerful, he makes it work. He closes the distance, and all he needs to do is get a hold of you. So I assume that Khamzat is also ridiculously strong as well, because he's fast, powerful, he's explosive, he's got good wrestling, and if he gets his hands on you, you're going down, okay? But as we know, he gets tired after the first round. Now, TJ Dillashaw came out recently and said that he has a secret weapon. He's got this new conditioning coach that is pushing him really hard. We've seen the videos of him online, okay?
Henry Cejudo, an American mixed martial artist, feels that Khamzat Chimaev is super dangerous and has the ability to finish opponents in the first round a number of times. Henry also felt impressed with Khamzat's performance versus Robert Whittaker.
Does Khamzat beat DDP?
Man, Khamzat could beat anybody in the world in about a round. Super impressed with what he did to Robert Whittaker. I don't see that against DDP. DDP's scrambly, man. You're gonna need to really be able to pace yourself for 5 rounds. And with DDP's train just continue to keep rolling, and he's still steaming, and his train's still hot. It depends on how long DDP wants to take a break. You're gonna have to prepare, man, for a guy like DDP. You're gonna need a 3-rounder or a 5-rounder to get ready, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think DDP's too. I used to think he was the sloppiest thing on planet Earth, and I thought the same thing about Rob. Until they bring that volume and just the tenacity, it changes everything.
However, Henry is cautious about Chimaev because of Dricus Du Plessis. Henry doesn't see Chimaev finishing Du Plessis quickly, because Du Plessis is extremely scrambly and has great gas. For Dricus Du Plessis, this fight is more than just another fight. It's a golden chance to shake up the division and announce himself on the biggest stage. A win over Khamzat Chimaev would instantly elevate him to superstar status, turning heads worldwide and rewriting the middleweight hierarchy. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the potential reward is monumental.
Is it good or bad for the organization if Khamzat is able to pick up this belt? Because DDP, the thing with DDP is he'll fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. He's been to Australia a couple of times now. Like, he's a very, very easy champion for the organization to have.
I would say that the answer is whoever the UFC can more ably build star power around. And so there's probably 2 competing theories. One might be, hey, DDP, this is the first time he's headlining a pay-per-view in this country. A big win over Chimaev would boost his profile, and that's something that they could go back to. They're not, there might always be some kind of issue with the fact that he's not American, but he could become a big star here.
According to Khamzat Chimaev, he asserted his superiority over Sean Strickland during sparring with his submission of the former middleweight champion on multiple occasions. This makes Chimaev a seemingly more dangerous threat to the grappling division of the sport, if that is even possible.
I saw you and Sean had an interaction in the gym, and he was like, hey, take it easy. You kill everybody.
You're better than everybody, so just don't hurt people.
Did you roll with Sean? Did you spar?
We spar with him, we train with that guy, and also, I don't know, we've been good when we been in the gym. But when I go back to Sweden, he start to eat and do some things, like
he gets a little crazy.
Yeah, he didn't like when I said I tap him out, So,
did you tap him out?
Yeah, many times, bro.
What did you get him with?
Chokes, different things, But he's good. He's strength good, but he's a good fighter, So, but he's tough guy, tough dude, man. But I said the things everyone see in the gym, So ask his coach. That's it.
Khamzat has insane skills, but it will only work if he improves his cardio. He plans to be the first Chechen UFC champion and keep fighting in the division. Some analysts think that if he wins the belt at middleweight, they could easily see him being a nightmare for the rest of the division due to his size, his strength, and his relentlessness. Winning here would not just be a win, it could be the start of something more.
He's got this new conditioning coach that is pushing him really hard. We've seen the videos of him online, okay? And that's what he needs to do, because this is truly a life-changing opportunity for Khamzat Chimaev. It's all well and good having a ton of potential, but if you don't realize that potential, then none of it really matters. You come here, you have a few good wins, you dominate some people, you go viral for a few finishes, you pick up Li Jingliang and you have a conversation with Dana White.
He's talking to Dana.
You just smoke all these people, but you don't become the champion. Then you're just going to be forgotten about in years to come. Khamzat Chimaev wants to be a champion. He wants to be the first Chechen champion, and he wants to defend the belt, and he wants to be active. Now, Dean Thomas said that he would be a disaster for the middleweight division if he was to become the champion.
No, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. If Khamzat wins, it's a disaster, actually.
Anything can happen in a fight like this. Dricus Du Plessis could get blown out in round 1, and if so, that's it. But if he can survive round 1, then we could see a massive shift in momentum. Rising from a possible chokeout by Khamzat Chimaev, it's not simply possible that Chimaev could gas if Du Plessis survives that critical juncture, but there is a genuine mystery.
I think I would say accepting that there is deep, who the knows with a contest like this. One of the ways that I'm paying attention to how it could go is someone asked me, what happens if DDP survives the first? First of all, DDP could get finished in the first. right? I mean, that could very well happen, right? Could go the other way around, but certainly Khamzat is, one of the best first-round fighters I've ever seen.
The whole game now rests on Khamzat Chimaev. If he survives the first round, his chances of winning rise sharply, but against a relentless, powerful opponent like Dricus Du Plessis, every minute will test his endurance, skill, and will to win.
Like if DDP is still around after 15 minutes, that would tell you that Khamzat's grappling was enough to win probably those rounds and not much more. Right. And again, I'm imagining there's going to be a degree of damage, but if DDP is, coming off the stool for round 4, yeah, you got your hands full. You know what I mean? You better bite down on the mouthpiece, because I don't know what he's going to do, but he's marching across the octagon. You can believe that.
Khamzat Chimaev should be able to get through the first few rounds, and 3 is the round we will watch for this massive shift. If Dricus Du Plessis survives the first 15 minutes, this is the biggest indicator that Chimaev's grappling was enough to win the early rounds of the fight and force Du Plessis to survive, rather than to win in the flow of the fight. Du Plessis presents a challenge because of his size and how powerful and unorthodox his striking is. While Chimaev has some power, Du Plessis will have a clean striking advantage and could end Chimaev's night if it stays on the feet.
Like the fact that he kind of wilted a little bit against Gilbert and then he wilted a little bit against Usman, that was a 170er, and those were both 3-round fights, right? DDP is different. You know what I mean? So to me, there's no question he could, again, it goes back to Dominic Reyes and John Jones. Now, I thought John Jones did lose that fight, but what was the demarcation line in that one? It was between the 3rd and the 4th. Dominic Reyes, in my judgment, clearly, the reason why I think Reyes won is because I think he won the first 3 and then lost the last 2. But where does the momentum switch? Where does the momentum switch in Gustafsson versus Jones 1? Between rounds 3 and 4.
Khamzat Chimaev is deadly in round 1, and in particular with his grappling, but if Dricus Du Plessis survives the last 15 minutes, we may have a different fight. The question is whether Khamzat Chimaev can maintain his early round dominance, or will Dricus Du Plessis' pressure and power take over?
But the way I'm looking at it is not that. My kind of assumption is he might lose it, and maybe even lose it badly, but I do think he'll survive. And then I think he'll find ways to hang on in the second and maybe certainly even the third. The demarcation line for me is that 3rd round, kind of like Hendo Hua. What happens after that? Like if DDP is still around after 15 minutes, that would tell you that Khamzat's grappling was enough to win probably those rounds and not much more. Right, and again, I'm imagining there's going to be a degree of damage.
The striking matchup between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis adds an intriguing layer to their upcoming fight. Khamzat has a strong jab, a good jab, as well as an opportunity for damage on the feet for a fighter that possesses striking like Du Plessis. But Du Plessis has unorthodox and potentially dangerous striking, which could pose a great challenge for Khamzat. Du Plessis employs a greater expanse of weaponry with kicks, spins, and a revolving active clinch game. He looks to present the fight with different types of striking at different ranges.
DDP, he's an interesting, unorthodox, but very dangerous and powerful striker. Khamzat, he brings power with him as well. How do you see these guys matching up on the feet? Let's say things aren't on the ground for certain periods of time throughout this one.
I would say the cleaner of the two is definitely Khamzat. Khamzat, at what he wants, has a good jab. He can stick behind it. And one of the interesting parts about Khamzat, and this is why he's such a dynamic talent, he's got power too. You go back to the Gerald Meerschaert fight. Like, he's not just a ground and pound threat like a Khabib. You know, on the feet, he'll hurt you bad. He's got real power.
Khamzat possesses good, clean striking and power, which is dangerous, and I believe he poses a dynamic striking threat. The question remains, however, to what extent has he developed this aspect of his game? The key may be whether he is able to maintain heavy discipline in terms of striking patterns of tempo and timing. If he is able to do so, his striking could sway the fight in his direction. If not, Du Plessis' array of striking and ability to be unpredictable will cause Khamzat challenges.
So to me, that makes it kind of interesting. It's just, I don't really know what that's going to be like against DDP, who is probably going to try and keep it more at kickboxing range, is going to be throwing a wider variety of weapons, you would imagine, right? Spinning stuff, kicks, teeps, maybe he's even more active in the clinch. That might be interesting to pay attention to, as well. So you're going to get greater variety at greater ranges, I think, from DDP.
Luke Rockhold talked about the pros and cons of each fighter. He didn't mince words when talking about Chimaev's abilities. He pointed out the obvious advantages the challenger brings to this fight. Chimaev's wrestling background gives him a clear path to victory, especially early in the fight.
What do you think their game plan would be like for the first round? Would they just get behind and be like, yeah, man, let's just go out there, let's push the action, but not make really bad mistakes to make sure that we don't end up being submitted, but like, let's just go at it? Or do you think they're like, no, let's reserve ourselves a little bit because this is where Khamzat is most dangerous?
No, I definitely think there's going to be some level of keeping your gun holstered a little bit. Not completely. That would equally be suicide. But I just think it's very, very listen, if the opportunity presents itself, then yeah, they will jump on it. But my sense is they know that they have to, like again, so just think about it. What are the levels of fighting? Survive, defend, attack. Right, so I think they're going to be probably more focused on the first two, survive and defend.
Dricus Du Plessis is not taken lightly into this fight. He is mentally aggressive, convinced he can compete with the best. Du Plessis is a very good tactician. His camp will probably play the first round safe, balancing aggression and a little defense. They know that Khamzat Chimaev is most dangerous early on, so they want to try to survive and defend while looking for their chances. This measured approach to a dangerous position will either allow Du Plessis to stay out of trouble or to be ready to take his chance when he sees an opening if the opportunity is there. The early stage is about surviving the onslaught. Staying calm and composed is key. Without the importance of active defense, the fight won't be won by just surviving, but will have its momentum and control.
And that's the right way to do it. You don't want to be so defensive over the long haul that you end up not having the offense, and you survive, but you didn't change the tenor of the fight ever. You just kind of hung on in a losing way. That can be a real problem. You even go back to a fight that was a one-sided ass kicking, Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, but Bud took the not first round off, but he might have lost it. Like, he was just looking. Now that's different than someone being in your face hardcore in the way that Khamzat will be. But what I'm trying to make is, I don't expect him to be super offensive early. I expect him to see what it feels like to wrestle up with that guy and to try to get him off of your back, or whatever the various things that they're thinking about. I imagine all of that is going to be quite present. It's just round 2, you might see him open up a little bit more, and then round 3, I think you're definitely going to see him open up more, provided he doesn't get finished. But should he be more defensively oriented in round 1? There's simply no question.
The obvious goal of Du Plessis' camp is to defend intelligently until the end of the first round, eventually moving through the first round into an offensive position that ultimately changes the tempo of the fight. His ability to mix takedowns with striking pressure has overwhelmed everyone. Robert Whittaker found this out the hard way when Chimaev submitted him in the first round of their recent encounter. He's a beast. He's a wrestler. He's a grappler. He's going to get relentless pressure. He's going to start fast and hard. Can Dricus take the first 2 rounds? Can he withstand the barrage? Because he's going to bring it. People love to focus on Du Plessis' awkward style and strange timing. What they miss is how tough he really is between the ears and physically. Rockhold picked up on this during their training sessions together. The champion has this weird ability to absorb punishment and keep moving forward. I've trained with DDP a lot. He's tough. He ain't going to go away. You've got to dominate him from start to finish, or you've got to finish him early. I just don't see how Khamzat's going to keep that pressure. His intensity, you can only keep that for so long. Rockhold believes this durability could be the deciding factor in a 5-round fight. Chimaev has never been tested in championship rounds, and his cardio remains a question mark. Meanwhile, the South African has proven he can maintain his output deep into fights. Rockhold's breakdown suggests this fight might come down to who wants it more when both men are tired and hurt. As the countdown to fight night continues, the stakes couldn't be higher for both men. Khamzat Chimaev enters the cage known for his explosive speed at the start of fights and strong grappling. However, he has not been tested in this area against elite competition deep into the rounds, and the question remains if he can silence the doubt about his conditioning and prove he is a 5-round fighter in the face of elite opposition. Standing opposite Chimaev is Dricus Du Plessis, an explosive striker with unorthodox strikes, extreme pressure, and a strong chin. Will he be able to weather the storm, withstand Chimaev's onslaught, and implement his own game? Or will Chimaev's aggression, pressure, and wrestling game be too much to handle? These are the questions that will define the night. Who will rise? Who will fall? And how will this battle impact the future of the middleweight division? We want to hear from you. What's your prediction? Do you see Chimaev's grappling dominating the fight, or will Du Plessis' striking and resilience carry him to victory? Share your thoughts and fight picks in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of MMA's most exciting matchups, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.